So Meta is making a huge bet. They're going all in on artificial intelligence. And it's a pivot that's shaking the entire company to its core. But when a company makes a bet this big, you got to ask, who's actually footing the bill? It's a question that hits really close to home for thousands of people. Because, this isn't some abstract business school question. If you work at Meta, or hey, even if you want to work there, this is probably the one question running through your mind right now. Is my job actually safe? Because it feels like the answer could change any day.
Yeah, remember when Mark Zuckerberg called 2023 the year of efficiency? Well, surprise, it looks like that wasn't just a one-time thing. It's kind of become the new normal over there. And those big restructuring waves, the layoffs, they're still rolling in and they're still reshaping what it means to work at Meta. In fact, a new one just crashed ashore.
Which brings us right up to today. Because just now, on March 25th, 2026, that efficiency axe, as some call it, it just fell again. So what are we talking about this time? Several hundred employees. Now look, I know that might not sound as massive as the tens of thousands we saw before, but let's be real. If you're one of those several hundred, that number is everything. It's a devastating blow, and it sends a message, loud and clear, that no one is truly safe. And just look at who's getting hit. This isn't just one little department on the fringe. We're talking about the core Facebook app. We're talking Reality Labs, the heart of the so-called metaverse dream, and even the absolute backbone of the company. Global ops, recruiting, sales. I mean, this isn't just trimming the fat anymore. This feels like cutting into bone. So what does Meta have to say about this? Well, you get the standard corporate speak, right? Teams regularly restructure to achieve their goals. It all sounds so clean, so planned, so impersonal. But what does restructure actually mean for the human beings getting that email? Well, for many of them, it's not a straightforward layoff. Oh no. Instead, they get handed this impossible choice. They're told, hey, your job still exists, but it's now hundreds, maybe thousands of miles away. So what do? Uproot your entire life, your family, your community, or just quit? That's the brutal reality behind that clean little word, restructuring. Okay, so you have to ask, why? Why all this constant churn, this chaos? It all boils down to one massive, company-altering strategic pivot. Meta is basically throwing its old dream in the trash and sprinting full speed towards a brand new one. And this right here, this lays it all out perfectly. On one side, you see the metaverse dream being dismantled. Reality Labs and VR studios are getting gutted. On the other side, a fire hose of money, we're talking billions, is being blasted at AI. It's an all-out scramble to catch up to rivals like OpenAI and Google. And they're buying up any AI talent they can get their hands on. They are literally selling off one future to pay for another. And you can just imagine the whiplash this creates inside the company. It's this really weird and kind of brutal situation. You've got one group of longtime employees packing their desks into boxes, while down the hall, a totally new group is being courted with huge offers. It's the great talent shuffle, and it is happening in real time. I mean, think about it. It's a painful equation. While hundreds of people who helped build this company in recruiting, in sales, on the actual Facebook product are being shown the door, the company is simultaneously on a hiring and acquisition spree. This chart just says it all. It really is a revolving door. Out go the recruiters and the Reality Lab staff. In come new AI startups and big-name hires. And then you look at the top. The executives who are steering this whole chaotic pivot, they're getting rewarded with a brand new stock option program to keep them around. And they're not even subtle about it. The company literally calls this a retaining tool. The whole point is to make sure the C-suite doesn't jump ship while they try to navigate these choppy AI waters. So it's stability for the people at the very top, while there's constant churn for pretty much everyone else. So what does this all add up to? Is this the new permanent reality at Meta? Or, bigger picture, is this just what it's going to be like to work in big tech from now on? Now, Meta's defense for those big executive pay packages is pretty straightforward. They say, hey, these only pay out if the company hits it out of the park, which means all our shareholders get rich too. They're basically framing it as we all win or we all lose together. But here's the wild part. For Wall Street, this strategy seems to be working. Remember, when the first reports about these latest job cuts started circulating, Meta's stock price actually went up. And that just shows you the fundamental painful disconnect here. What causes a crisis for an employee's career can be seen as great news for the stock ticker. Which leaves us with this one big nagging question. In this insane all-out race to dominate AI, is this kind of constant, ruthless disruption just the new normal? And if you're trying to build a career in this industry, the real question is, how in the world are you supposed to find solid ground when the earth is constantly shaking beneath your feet?